Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Today we're going to go over our week 6 picks. Season's just rolling along here. It's just chugging down. But are you in another different location, Lance?
Andrew, I know it's crazy, man. I am. I'm in a new location today. We were in Coeur d'Alene yesterday, and I am in Moscow, Idaho tonight. Um, if you
I
have
think I just
never,
need to move my setup every couple times just so I can stick
so
with
you
with the
can,
trend because I'm just the same boring bookshelf and cat tree over here.
hey, that's not true. There was that one time that I think you were upstairs, right? Because you had,
Yeah, there was the one time.
so, maybe you just need to do it a little more.
Yeah. I'm gonna
The
have to do
question,
something different next week.
the question is how your wife would feel about it and how your kid would feel about it. That's the part I don't really know about.
Maybe I just have it in the background, just chilling.
Yeah, man. I'm ready to get home to my own bed.
Hmm.
I don't know if you'll remember this, Andrew, but there was a commercial that I remember as a kid. It was I can't even remember the name of the pillows, but there was like this commercial and they would show all these different reasons why pillows suck. And one of them
Hmm.
was they would take a bowling ball and they would put the bowling ball directly on the pillow to see whether or not the fluff just goes to the outside or whether it stays firmly in the middle. And that is my pillow this trip. It has been
Oh
just
no.
pushed all the way to the outside. I woke up at least like 15 times last night. And I promised myself the last time I was on a trip, I'll find a pillow, something like I'm going to be more prepared. And here I
Bring
am. I
your
mean,
own pillow.
yeah, man. But I'm still making the same mistake. I just walk into my hotel room and it's like, oh,
Hmm.
I cannot believe I forgot again.
Hmm.
So I am ready to be home. I am jealous of your office, little cat house setup because that means you get to go to your nice comfy bed and pillow every night.
Yes, yes. And the issue also with hotel pillows is it's either that one you're having or it's way too stiff. It's like a rock.
It's true. It's never in
There's no in
between.
between. Nope.
Yeah, they just want to torture you. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So anyway, it's all right. I'll be back home tomorrow night. I'm definitely looking forward to being back in my own home and with the family, man. That's what it's all about. If it's not football, it's family.
Yep, absolutely. And you got to get back home so you can watch the Thursday night game, watch your Eagles play.
Oh, that's true. I'm cautiously looking forward to that game. Slightly terrified.
Well, I think that you end up having a good matchup. And I guess this is almost like we're professionals. So it's a good segue to go to week 6 and starting out Thursday night football, Eagles at Giants. Um, I think the problem for the Eagles is that it's such a short week that you can't really fix any of the things that you saw against the Broncos. You can just try to tweak some things. But it's just luckily that you're playing the Giants who have no secondary. They have a good D line, but if you can hold them up, you can just pick them apart. I mean, the Saints put up 26 against them. That's probably all you need to know. And Jackson Dart does what he can, but he doesn't really have any real playmakers on offense. I think he threw 2 picks against the Saints last week, so he's a rookie that's just trying to figure things out. Eagles defense hasn't been great, but they have been bad. They've been kind of on the side of bend but don't break and make enough plays to get off the field, and sometimes that's all you need. But I think they might tee off a little bit on Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart might hit the turf a few times. I think there's going to be a handful of sacks happening because he likes to try to escape with his legs. And what's one thing that contains running cornerbacks the best? Great linebacker play. And that's what the Eagles have in spades. You guys have a ton of good linebackers, edge rushers, linebackers, lots of speed. I don't think he's going to be able to escape that much. So I think you guys should get a decent amount of sacks, maybe like 3 or 4, something like that, in some drives. Um, so I just don't see any way the Eagles don't win this game. I know, like you said, you're cautious about this game, but if this was like against the Commanders or against the Lions or against a good team, I'd be this could be scary, but this is a good game to get after a loss. So I have the Eagles winning, getting back on track, and I have this as a confidence level of 13.
Okay. I like it. I think that that's very fair. Um, I am right there with you, actually. I also decided to put a confidence of 13 for this game. I am nervous
Okay.
about it, but the part I come back to is it's just the Giants, man. The Giants are the problem.
Hmm.
They brought back the same coach. Um, they just they seem to be unable to run a successful organization right now, successful franchise. And
Hmm.
maybe things change. I do like Jackson Dart. We talked about just want to take
Yeah.
credit, Andrew. As a podcast, we were one of the first people to be on the Jackson Dart train and justifying he
Hmm.
should be a first round pick. I think we've seen a little bit of that over the past couple of weeks. He has potential.
Absolutely.
He has potential.
Hmm.
I mean, sure, there's issues down in New Orleans, but one sign of a great quarterback is when they're able to make receiving targets work that typically weren't working. And the person I
Hmm.
mentioned this before, but Theo Johnson has looked really good the past
Yes,
2 weeks.
he has.
And to me, it's a sign of a quarterback being able to get creative and make people that maybe aren't the standard fit, but find ways to still make them good. Find ways to get them
Hmm.
open. Find ways to sneak that ball in there so they can work down the field. And so I give him a lot of props for that. He's used Theo really, really well in expanding the Giants'
Hmm.
options. And the Giants were up at one point, and you got to give Dart some of the blame for that. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but he just had a second start. It's his second start as a quarterback. Like let's give
And
him a
look who
little
he's
time.
trying to throw the ball to. He has like no weapons with Malik Neighbors getting hurt.
Yeah.
Darius Slayton's fine. Wanda Robinson's a good young receiver, but who do they got outside, like you said, of Theo Johnson that he's targeting a lot? They really don't have much. I'm excited to see what Jackson Dart can do with a full offseason, a full training camp, possibly, like you said, a new coaching staff. You're kind of hinting at that, and a healthy offense. Giants could be kind of sneaky competitive next year, depending on the draft and free agency and stuff. Because I like me and you agree, Jackson Dart, he is going to be legit. I don't think it's going to be this game because he has no weapons and his offensive line is fine and he's going to be running for his life a few times. But overall, he is the right choice for this franchise.
Yeah, another part too. Can I just mention it's so silly that the NFL is making the Giants and the Eagles face each other 2 times in 3 weeks. Come on, people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there's multiple. They're not the only ones. I can't recall the other ones off the top of my head. But I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, let's get more creative in the
Hmm.
schedule. There's no reason that that should be happening.
It happens to everybody, I think, because last year the Vikings played. I think it was the Packers or the Lions. It might be the Lions, like 2 of the last 3 weeks, and same thing's happening this year. 2 of our last 3 games is against the Packers. So
Mm,
it
don't love that.
happens.
One
Yeah.
part I did really enjoy that the NFL did this year is make more divisional matchups week one. I loved
Yes.
that.
That was
That
fun.
was such a
Hmm.
welcome change to have that. I mean, the Vikings and Bears going at it on Monday Night Football,
Hmm.
and having the Eagles and
Eagles,
the Cowboys
Cowboys.
Thursday
Hmm.
night, having the Packers
Chargers,
Lions,
Chiefs.
Chargers Chiefs. I mean, it was so fun. It was a great way to start
Hmm.
off the season in an exciting fashion. Um, it was so nice. It was nice to just not have like nothing burger, not worth anything, not fighting for anything
Yeah.
type games. And sometimes it's fun to have AFC, NFC crossovers, but I think those are better for like mid-season. Truly,
Yeah.
once you're like really vying for playoff spot, you know what you have in front of you.
Hmm.
Versus week one, that divisional matchup means a ton. Means a ton.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, man, we'll see what happens on Thursday night. I did hear that Nakobe Dean might be back.
It is getting close to that window. Yeah. That'd be huge for you guys. That'd be
Well, and
huge.
I'm really wondering. Jahad Campbell, based off of what I was reading, was ranked the seventh best linebacker coming out of last week. I just don't know what you do. You can't take him off the field. Um,
Hmm.
do you switch to a 3-4 where it's really or like a I think it would be a 3-4 and you treat one of your linebackers as an outside edge, but they would always be blitzing. I don't know. It's
Hmm.
weird to me if you have Nakobe Dean on the bench, but it's also weird if you have Jahad Campbell on the bench.
See, something like that, and I've heard some people say this, and I completely agree, is when you have certain players, you change your scheme. So if your scheme is a 4-3 and you have all these insanely good edge rushing like linebackers, you got to change to a 3-4. If you have a ton of great corners, then you got to change it up. That's what I love about Flores is he's just a schemeless. He just depending on the matchup and who he has healthy. It's just whoever's his best players are out there. And I think your D coordinator likes to do that as well. And so I agree. I don't see how you can keep Nakobe Dean off the field. He's got to be in there. Campbell's got to be in there. Bond's got to be out there. They all three of those guys need to be out there constantly.
Yeah. One other note I wanted to share on this matchup is that, our intel was right, by the way, as far as our inklings about the offensive line issues with the Eagles. It
Hmm.
turns out that Cam Jurgens is, in fact, banged up, um,
Hmm.
which is interesting. I'm surprised that's been kept under wraps for so long because I've been wondering for a while if there was an injury with Cam Jurgens. It is nice to get that
Yeah.
context. Um, Happy news, I would say, and not so much short term, but long term, was I was happy to read that Landon Dickerson's most likely going to be shut down for 2 to 3 weeks. Um, he needs
Sometimes it
it.
just needs to happen. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like I just think about taking the car keys from a teenager.
Hmm.
Sometimes you just have to take the decision out of your player's hands.
Yep.
It's like the Tua example. We've talked about it with
Hmm.
McDaniel, but that was a sign to me of like, you got to be a better coach. You have to take the keys out of his hands and say, no, you're just not ready. It's not about you not being a good player. I'm just worried about your health. And so I'm,
Hmm.
I'm glad to see that he's getting shut down for a couple games and hopefully he can rest up.
When's your guys' bye week?
So it's actually in 4 weeks from now. So we have three more games.
Okay.
We got the Giants, Vikings, Giants, and then we'll have
And then the
our
bye.
bye. And so I'm thinking that maybe they extend them all
Does
the way
it make
through.
sense? Yeah, does it make sense to shut him down for the next 3 games? And then after the bye, boom, he's fully healthy. You guys go on a little run toward the second half of the season. That kind of makes sense.
Well, hey, we need him back because if I remember right, let me make sure I've got this correct. But my last recollection is the Eagles will play the Packers after their bye week. And
Oh,
Andrew, we really need to tush push our way down the field for a touchdown.
like 9 times.
Like nothing would make me happier. I
We
just,
said this in the off season. I literally want them to have a full drive, 100% drive of nothing but the tush push. I don't care. First and 20, tush push that baby for 6 yards. I don't care. Tush push it down their throats. They got rid of their biggest defensive lineman in Kenny Clark. Micah Parsons isn't
that's
stopping the
true.
tush push.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully they can rest him up, get him back, get him healthy.
Hmm.
Nolan Smith might be back by that point. We really need Nolan Smith back on our edge. He makes a huge
Hmm.
difference. The Darius Smith has looked okay. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are definitely things to look out for this week for the matchup. But I think we're good to move forward, Andrew. I've got everything off my chest about the Eagles matchup.
You also mentioned that so you mentioned the playoffs earlier. If the season ended today, guess who's the seventh seed in NFC East? I mean NFC total. Minnesota Vikings. They'd
Yeah,
be the seventh seed. I don't think anyone really realizes that technically they're a playoff team as of right now. Barely, but they're in. I just thought
it's
I'd drop that
all
nugget in there.
it's all about getting the invitation. That's all it comes down to. If you can get an invitation
Hmm.
into it, that's the only thing that matters. So um,
Yep.
we'll see what JJ McCarthy looks like. I think that's going to be the big factor. If JJ McCarthy comes
Yeah,
back
it's gonna depend on his
healthy,
health. Yeah.
then you guys can absolutely compete, and there's no reason why you can't.
Yeah, and I just want to get one last small thing off my chest, then we'll move on to the Broncos Jets. That game won't take too long for us to talk about. But I am getting a little tired of hearing Vikings fans saying that they don't want to see McCarthy back. They want to have Wentz play the whole year. He's the best chance of winning. That is far from the truth. Has Wentz overall played better than McCarthy for the first 4 games? Overall, yes, but it hasn't been by a mile. I was hearing some stats, and with a bunch of different numbers and analytics, Carson Wentz is the 21st best quarterback in the NFL right now. If he was like the 12th, I'd be like, maybe you have a point. Maybe he should keep playing until the wheels kind of fall off. But he's the 21st. It's not like he's killing it out there. He's doing enough to win, and you can see that he is old and that he can't move as well as McCarthy can. So, Vikings fans, we want McCarthy out there when he's healthy. Not too early, but when he's healthy, get him in there. It doesn't matter about Wentz. McCarthy's our guy. Just had to get off my chest.
I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. So well, we'll see, man. I'm still holding my breath for tomorrow to see if the Vikings Eagles game is going to get flexed to Sunday Night Football. It deserves to be, Andrew. No one wants to watch Falcons 49ers on Sunday Night Football. What an absolute travesty of a matchup.
Actually, it's Lions Chiefs.
That week? Did I get that
Yeah.
wrong?
Oh no, no, excuse me.
Oh,
That's this week. Excuse me. Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at this week right now. It's like, wait, I'm seeing something different, but yeah, that's next. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Totally
man.
looked at
I
that
just
wrong.
no, I'm telling you, that's not the matchup America wants. That's going to be
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a bad game. I feel it in my soul.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. But anyway, we should move on. We should move
Speaking of
forward.
bad games, Broncos at Jets in London. Um, why does London get the worst teams? They got the Browns. Now they're getting the Jets. I just, it's like the NFL's like, well, we want our teams over there. Let's just give them the crap of the crap. Let's give them the worst of the worst. I kind of feel bad for the Jets a little bit because Aaron Glenn's trying and the Jets compete. It's not like they don't have talent. They have some guys. I just don't know exactly what it is with this team specifically because it's a very similar team to when they were competing and they were playing good defense and winning some close games with I can't think of his name right now, but the 49ers D coordinator, Robert Sala. When they had him back
Mhm.
there, they were winning close games. Now Aaron Glenn, another defensive coach, and their defense looks like the worst in the league. I I really don't know what's going on, but they just look bad. They look like probably the worst team in this league right now. And it's strange because I think they have more talent than team like the Saints, than a team like the Browns, but the Jets just look so much worse. Doesn't make sense to me, but that's just how it looks. And the Broncos coming off that huge win, they've been up and down this year. They haven't been able to close, but they actually closed last week, which got to give them credit. So, I mean, I just don't see any way that this is. I mean, this might be competitive for a little bit, but the Broncos are going to win this game. I don't see any way in the world that the Jets beat the Broncos. I got the Broncos winning confidence of 14.
Same confidence of 14 for the Broncos. It's just not a great time for the Jets organization. They're in a bad spot.
Hmm.
And overall, I I think Justin Fields is okay. I really
I agree.
don't fault him for the issues um that they're having. I think that it's well beyond the quarterback. It's just that team is in such
Hmm.
disarray. It's beyond Justin Fields. It's the offensive line.
Yeah.
They don't have many receiving options. Garrett Wilson is not nearly as good as his contract is right now. Um, but the Jets are in a catch-22 because and Rich Eisen actually did a really good segment on this on his podcast.
Mm.
But they're in a catch-22 because the fact that okay, you let those guys go, but then who are you going to get? Like no one wants to come to New York right now. So you're having to overpay for
Hmm.
players
Hmm.
that probably shouldn't be getting paid that much. But the alternative is just letting Sauce Gardner walk and go be an amazing cornerback for someone else. Letting Garrett Wilson walk and go
Hmm.
be a pretty decent wide receiver for someone else. That doesn't make sense. So it's like no matter what they do, it's a bad choice. Um,
Yep.
but they have a good setup right now as far as for trying to explore and make alternative decisions. They're not the Giants. The Giants made a horrible decision with giving Jones that extension. It put them in a massive hole for three
Hmm.
seasons. They don't have that. They don't have a contract that bad on right now is on the roster. They did have Aaron Rodgers, which they're paying for that this season, but then they're out from under that
Hmm.
ridiculous decision. But I just think it's going to take time. I hope they give
Yeah.
Fields more time because he's looked decent.
I agree. I agree. We all knew he'd be a good running quarterback, but I've been impressed with his passing. It's not been
Agreed.
perfect. There's been some times where he's inaccurate, but overall, I'm thinking, okay, I see something there. I didn't see it before with the Bears and with the Steelers, but now he's throwing the ball a little bit. He's accurate sometimes, so they do have something there. But unfortunately, if they continue to lose and they get a top three pick or the number one overall pick, there's a good chance they're drafting a quarterback, which kind of sucks for Justin Fields because he's playing well. It's not his fault they're 0-5 right now.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you.
I don't think there's much else to say about that stat situation. So let's go to the first game at 11 o'clock, which we agreed in our last episode that we just don't like 11 o'clock games. But Cardinals at Colts. For the Cardinals, they lost a game that they should have won, and they have a coach getting fined 100 grand for punching his player, and it's just all in disarray over there. Um, Kyler Murray is a talented quarterback that has no leadership qualities, which is a very bad thing as a quarterback. You need to be a leader of men, and I just don't think that's him. He's very talented. He's got a good arm. He's very athletic, but he's just not a leader. And that's kind of showing because his team isn't like rallied and coming in as one. And the coaching has something to do with it, but I think the quarterback is the most, at least for this situation. Him and Marvin Harrison Jr., they've been okay past couple games, but they spent the fourth overall pick on someone who's looking like wide receiver two. And it's almost as bad as the Travis Hunter situation, but at least they didn't have to trade for it. It's just not good. Again, the past couple weeks has been better, so maybe there's hope there. But just overall, this team is just in so much disarray. They're a competitive team. Every single game they compete. I wouldn't be surprised if this game is like a 3-point game at the end because
Mhm.
that's just this team has talent. They just don't have any leaders on the team, and now their coach is punching their players, and it's just crazy. Um, the Colts, on the other hand, have been actually the surprise of the season, probably the biggest surprise because they easily could be 5-0 right now, if not for the same thing the Cardinals had of a drop ball in the end zone. It's very possible they could be 5-0. They're not, they're 4-1, but they've looked good. They've looked really good. They probably, if I had to pick right now, they're probably going to win their division. I'm not a full believer in the
Mhm.
Jaguars just yet because
Mhm.
Trevor Lawrence does not look great. He looked good last week against the Chiefs, but I just not fully on board there. I like the Colts though. Daniel Jones is looking like a different quarterback. They got weapons everywhere. John Taylor is looking like maybe offensive player of the year candidate. This is at Indianapolis. I don't see any way the Cardinals win this game. But again, like I said, somehow it's probably going to be close when it shouldn't because that's just what the Cardinals do. Every game they play is close. The Titans game was close. It shouldn't have been. They should have
Mhm.
won that game in the third quarter, but they didn't. So they'll probably have some kind of comeback and make it somewhat competitive, but the Colts are going to win this game. I have this as a confidence level of 11.
Um, I agree. The Colts will win. I want the confidence of four. I get all the factors you're
Okay.
talking about. I just I need to see more from the Colts, and it's not so much maybe the Colts, but Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has come down a little bit, and I feel like he hasn't had the first 2 weeks of the season. Daniel Jones was playing out of his mind. He really was doing
Hmm.
excellent, awesome work. I thought he could be in maybe in the MVP discussion, not MVP winning, but at least, like on the radar, maybe
Hmm.
sixth or fifth candidate. But he's kind of fallen off a little bit. And so the question comes into this game. Overall, I'm still impressed by this Cardinals defense. They're playing good, even though that they don't have all the best pieces. And I don't see that changing. And I don't see Daniel Jones getting better. I just feel like this could be a good game where Daniel Jones gets put in a hole, like a similar, because I'm thinking back to the Gannon matchups against Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones never had a good day against the Gannon defense. That was always his
Mm.
kryptonite. In the playoffs, in the regular season, he could never figure out a way how to scheme against them. So I feel like this is where Gannon has a benefit. He knows this quarterback. He's played
Mm,
against, they're coached against him. He knows how to
that's
make him
fair.
uncomfortable. And so I feel like it's going to be a theme in this game. The question is, and it's fair, man, is Murray going to do enough to win the game? Is he going to put the game in position to win? Last week he
Hmm.
did. He really did. And DeMarcado just made a really, really dumb mental error. Like so bad that the NFL should probably have a fine for how dumb the situation is. Like legitimately fine people for being
Hmm.
that dumb because it's like, come on,
That
people.
should be the name of the penalty. You got fined 100 grand for being dumb.
I don't get it. I mean, I thought about it, Andrew, and it's like it's so next level dumb because he didn't just let go of the ball before they got into the end zone. He threw it out of the end zone. Come on. Like, ugh.
I ranted in the
Just
previous episode. Now you get to rant, and I just love it.
it just I mean, I really thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'm not appreciating how dumb that a decision that was because it's not just the fact that he threw it out there like they let go. He threw it out of the end zone. Like, come on. Look for the field
Hmm.
goal post and then decide to chuck it as hard as you can. I don't know. I just it's
Hmm.
unbelievable, man. One of my favorite moments, I just have to bring this up because it's hilarious. I don't know if you saw the clip from several years ago and Deshaun Jackson scored the touchdown against the Cowboys. But the
Hmm.
best part was is after that incident, Andy Reid made a rule with Deshaun Jackson that every time he scored in that fashion, he had to bring the ball to Andy Reid. So I just feel like Cannon's going to be like, you have to bring me that ball every time. That's why I really wanted to punch him.
Hmm.
I,
Hmm.
I'm not condoning that, but just
Yeah.
what an
Yeah. No.
unfortunate situation, man. Just unfortunate all
Hmm.
around. So all to say, I know they have those things going on. It's just Daniel Jones for me, man. That's the question. I Is he better than Kyler Murray? I don't know. I don't know if he's actually better than Kyler Murray. And in this game, I feel like that the quarterback play is going to be a really big deciding factor in who's going to win. So we'll see.
And I think the run game, because the Cardinals are down their
Fair.
third and fourth string running back, and they're facing JT, who is looking like the best running back in the league right now.
Sure is. And maybe that's what Steichen's decided is he just needs a level-headed quarterback.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying this is the same, but maybe he's trying to implement a 2024 Eagles concept. Daniel, just don't turn over the ball. Don't turn over the
Yeah.
ball. Do just enough to get us down the field. Ride the JT train, and we'll win.
Hmm. It's very possible, and it's been working so far. And it should continue this week. Now, last week we had a lot of crazy upsets. If the Cardinals win, I don't think that's a crazy upset, but that would be an upset. I don't think a lot of people would think that
Agreed.
that would happen, especially
Yeah.
since it's at Indy. But the next game we have going on is the Chargers at the Dolphins. This is interesting because the Chargers are not the same Chargers in week one. Like
Hmm.
going into the year, I was a little on the skepticism side of the Chargers. I thought they were getting a little overhyped, and then they come out and look like one of the best teams in the league for the first couple weeks. I'm thinking maybe I was wrong, and then they dealt with some injuries, and they're having to deal with some issues, and things aren't looking great for them right now. Luckily, they get to play a Dolphins team who is like one altercation away from everyone getting fired. I think they're on the verge of just collapsing, and then Mike McDaniel is probably going to be looking to apply at Foot Locker. I don't know. It's not looking great. It's not looking great for the Dolphins right now, and they need a win. And now they have to play a Chargers team who just came off a bad loss, needs to continue to win because the Broncos are now tied with them. Now tied with them, and the Chiefs are only one game back. So the Chargers need to continue to win. So I think they're going to be extra motivated in this game. I know Hampton's out. That sucks. So I think they're going to be more pass heavy. And the Dolphins, if you just watch what they let happen against the Panthers, their defense is not very good. So you can put up points against the Dolphins. So I think this is probably going to be kind of a ugly-ish game, like not pretty. Herbert will probably take a few sacks because their O line is decimated, but I think he's going to throw the ball, make enough plays, and I think the Chargers should win. It's probably going to be like a 21-17, just game, but Chargers should win. I have them winning as a confidence level of 9.
I totally understand what you're saying, and I get why you'd go 9. I just went a little lower and went 6. I'm just I'm slightly concerned about this offensive line. I'm just concerned about the
Yeah.
running game. I do
Hmm.
think they'll have just enough to win, and so I went ahead and said that they'll win strictly on the fact that the Dolphins team is just in such disarray. I mean, I'm thinking about
Hmm.
it, Andrew. Which team's worse, the Jets or the Dolphins?
That's
Long
a
term,
debate.
long term, I'd say the Dolphins. I really do believe that the Jets have infrastructure in place to build on and to be hopeful for. I don't
Yeah.
think you can feel that way as a Dolphins fan.
Yeah. Yeah. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. The Dolphins are an older team, and their gimmicky style of play has proven that it's not really working anymore. And their best players are either hurt or very small. And Devon Achane, and I don't know how well that you can succeed with guys that are just going to be off the field so much.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right. Next game, we have Patriots at Saints. Two surprise wins last week. Saints going down like 14-3 against the Giants, come storming back and take that game like 26-14. It was great comeback. Spencer Rattlers looked like a competent quarterback. He hasn't looked like top 10 or anything to be scared of, but he can run an offense. He's looked like a good backup quarterback, which is very valuable in this league because backup quarterbacks are playing left and right now. So he is running this offense in a good way, getting the ball out, getting to Chris Olave, to Juwan Johnson, and they're starting to get Kendre Miller involved more. Like Alvin Kamara is getting his touches kind of decreased every now and again, which is probably a good thing overall. Keep him fresh. So I like what the Saints are doing. Their defense is making enough plays, but I just think that the Patriots have a little bit more than the Saints do right now. They're coming off a big win. Now, I don't give them as much credit of that win against the Bills. I think it was more the Bills beating themselves, but you got to give credit to the Pats. They made the plays they needed to make. They won the game. They executed. Stephon Diggs is looking like the old Stephon Diggs. Drake May's looking like a legit quarterback. He looks good. Their defense is making, it's not look great, but it's looked pretty decent. So overall, the Patriots have been a pretty good team. They are probably going to be flirting with the playoffs by the end of the year. I don't know if they get in, but it's going to be one of those teams that's like 9 games they've won. Maybe they flirt with 10, and they're just going to be on the border of like that 7 to 9 seed, and we'll see where tiebreakers end up. But I do like what the Patriots are doing. I'm going with them in this game. It's at New Orleans, and New Orleans is feisty. So I don't have a high confidence, but I'm picking the Pats to win with a confidence of 5.
I think that's very respectable. And I can see that. Um, I just don't think lightning's going to strike twice for the New Orleans Saints. I think last week was a lightning strike. It was a good building win. I think they're
Yeah,
going to come back down a little bit. Um, and this is where I think coaching is going to matter. I think Mike Vrabel in this moment is a better coach than Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore still has a lot to
fair.
figure out in this staff. I mean,
Hmm.
actually, here's one thing I should actually mention too is Brandon Staley deserves some credit here. He's done a great job being the defensive coordinator for the Saints. A lot of people looked at that move and thought,
Agreed.
what a dumb hire. He's not going to do good. But overall, this Saints defense is looking good.
Yeah, they're playing
I
well.
mean, there's not a drop off from last year, and last year's defense was okay. It wasn't bad.
Hmm.
So I give him credit there. But I went ahead with a confidence of 9 for the Patriots. I just feel like the Patriots, I feel like they're kind of rolling right now. I think they can
Yeah.
feel some confidence. There's a huge win in the spotlight. I think Vrabel's going to keep him on pace and focused. I think it'll be
Hmm.
close, but confidence of 9 for me.
Okay. Yeah. The one thing that the Patriots got to do is quit fumbling the ball. Their running backs have some fumble issues, and
Yes.
Mike Vrabel is ticked off about that. All right. Next game is a game that I'm not really looking forward to. This is going to be gross. Browns at Steelers. Two teams that try to play good defense and two teams where their quarterback play is way overhyped. like I heard a lot of people saying that Dylan Gabriel looked good last week. I'm thinking, did you see what I saw? I watched that whole game and he didn't play well. Just like the week before, everyone was saying that Aaron Rodgers torched the Vikings defense. No, he got the ball out quick. He had one slant that DK took to the house, so DK did all the work, and he only threw for 200 yards. So no, he didn't really torch the defense. It was the running backs that did. But it's going to be probably an ugly game. The Browns, they have a good defense. I think Myles Garrett's going to get back on his sack campaign. He got chipped so many times with the Vikings. Great play calling by KOC. I don't think the Steelers will do that because we know who their offensive coordinator is. And he at times can call some good plays, but there are times where you're questioning why he's in the league. So
Mm.
this could be one of those games. I think Myles Garrett's going to tee off on Aaron Rodgers a little bit. He's probably really upset that he got 0 sacks against third string offensive lineman last week. So he's going to be ready to play. Quinshon Judkins is going to be rolling. But it comes down to a rookie quarterback in Dylan Gabriel who looked like he was very inaccurate, not really knowing what he was doing, up against Aaron Rodgers, who, even though he's very old and doesn't really have much left in the tank, he still knows what he's seeing. And it's at Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, Pittsburgh's probably going to win this division, and I hate it. I hate it. Just they were gifted. It was like a Christmas present. Here you go, Aaron Rodgers. You get a playoff seed because you're going to win the probably worst division in the NFL right now. It's just so sad. But I think that the Steelers are going to make enough plays. This is probably going to be a defensive ugly game, but I'm going to have the Steelers winning. I don't like the game, so I'm only giving it a confidence level of 4.
Mm. Andrew, I think it's offensive that you aren't believing in the Joe Flacco hype train to help save us from the Steelers winning the AFC North. I mean, come
Well,
on, you're not.
I do got something to say about that when we have the Bengals and Packers pick.
Oh
I'll
man,
get
that
there on
just
that.
yeah, that's fair. I don't want to jump. I don't want to jump ahead too much. I
Hmm.
get what you're saying as far as why you think it's going to be closer. I do think the Browns defense it looks good. This offense is just not good. It's not a good
Yeah.
offense. Um,
Hmm.
and the Steelers coming off rest into this game at home.
Hmm.
I got a confidence of 8. I don't think they're going to drop it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not seeing it for this one.
Yeah. I only give it a 4 because I don't want to have this game on the schedule. This is like the that one week when it was, I think, Dolphins Jets. I was like, I don't care who wins.
Yeah, I understand, and it is frustrating, man. I will have no faith in the Steelers team when they get to the playoffs. I expect a fast exit for this team. This is not.
Absolutely. And it's really bad for us to say in week 6 that when did they get to the playoffs because there's it has to be a miracle that they don't right now.
Who's going to challenge them though? I mean, really,
I
who's
know.
going to?
Exactly.
I just
Exactly.
don't. I don't see it.
Unless Lamar Jackson comes back in week 7 and 8 and they go undefeated when he comes back. That's the only way that's even possible.
I mean, but let's look at this here. The Ravens are 1-0 in the division still. Thankfully, that at least gives them somewhat of a chance.
Yeah, they beat the Browns. Yeah.
But they're 1-3 in the conference. That's
Hmm.
bad. I mean, that's a really bad margin. I mean,
Hmm.
you gotta win out to even have a decent conference record at
Yeah.
this point.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
it's pretty hopeless for the Steelers not to win this division, and it it just tastes horrible. Um, anyway, moving on. Next game we have is the Cowboys at Panthers. I think this is going to be semi-fun. It's two teams that have been kind of an up and down past couple years. They both have some talent. Panthers coming off a crazy come from behind victory against the Dolphins and Rico Dowdle revenge game. He's already talking trash, like they're gonna see, and I'm like, okay, you're talking trash to your old team, all right. And these are two defenses that haven't looked great. I know the Panthers shut out the Falcons, but I think it's more on the Falcons than the Panthers. And the Cowboys defense is maybe the worst in the league so far. It's up there with the Jets. Both defenses look really bad. Um, on the Cowboy side, I like what they're doing with the run game and their offensive line, and Dak Prescott has looked really good as an overall quarterback. They have some injuries to the receivers. CeeDee Lamb's still going to be out. George Pickens is here or there. He's a roller coaster ride. Sometimes he's going to have a great game. Sometimes he's just not there. I don't think he really did
Hmm.
much last week. But they're going to move the ball enough against the Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to keep this close. They're going to keep it competitive. I just don't believe in Bryce Young yet. I wanted to pick the Panthers to win this game because it's at Carolina. They're coming off a big win. They have some confidence, and they do have some players on this team, but I can't pick Bryce Young. Can't do it. And the Cowboys coming off a good win. They're looking like a pretty decent team. I'm
Hmm.
impressed with what I've seen from the Cowboys. So I have the Cowboys win this game. I got a confidence level of 6 because the Panthers are feisty. I think they're going to keep it close, but Cowboys are going to end up winning this game.
I'm with a confidence level of 5, and I don't think there's anything else to add, Andrew. The Cowboys are doing well. Props to Schottenheimer. He's proven to be a
Yep.
pretty even killed coach,
Mm-hmm.
especially after the Micah Parsons trade. I mean, talking about being cut down at the knees and still
Mm-hmm.
finding a way to keep walking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's done a phenomenal job. He was a couple plays away from upsetting the Eagles week 1, and he goes
Yep.
and ties the Packers, almost winning that game if Dak Prescott just runs a little bit faster to get away from Michael Parsons and get in the end zone, but he didn't quite do it. So I've been impressed with the Cowboys. They're a good 2-2-1 team. They're a good 100% 500 team. They're exactly at 500.
How do you think it felt, by the way, on that Sunday night game to take home the game ball if you're Dak Prescott and Jordan Love? I'd be so angry. I
I
would
would
give
be
the ball back.
ticked. Yes, I don't deserve this.
Yeah, I'd really be like, wait a minute, I tied it, I get a game ball. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, you take this back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think they should implement what you've said in the past that after overtime, if it's tied, kick off. Field goal kickers win the game. You keep going
I,
back 5 yards, keep going back 5 yards, and maybe eventually you have the opposing teams like kick block team up there. Make it something fun, but they gotta do
yeah.
something. Ooh, you know
No,
what? And if they make a 60-yarder, they go back to 40 and they put camera cables in the way to see who can kick around them.
only if you're overseas, Andrew.
That's fair. That's fair. Oh, I still can't believe that. And actually it happened again. I think the Jets game, I think there was a pass that hit a cable as well. I think they were saying
Really,
that Justin Fields hit a cable on a pass. I'm not sure. I have to look that up, but it's just crazy. What is
that's
going on?
wild. Wild. We're gonna have to start throwing challenge flags for wire interference.
Hmm. Oh man, this is crazy. Anyway, next game could be one of the games of the week. I think this game is going to be really fun. Seahawks at Jaguars. I'm excited to see this game. It's two teams that have been playing really well. I think the
Hmm.
Jaguars are more of a surprise. I think everyone thought that they'd compete, but I don't think people thought that they'd be trying to get first in the division and beating the Chiefs. Um, they've been impressive. Their defense has been great. We both don't understand what they're doing with Travis Hunter, but that's a different story. The big thing though is they just lost Britton Strange, their leading receiver, Britton Strange. He's on IR right now. So Trevor Lawrence is going to have to throw the ball to Brian Thomas Jr. or Parker Washington. And I don't know if he
He could
wants
throw it to
to.
the sidelines, Andrew. Don't tell him to change up the game plan.
I mean, I'll give him credit. He had a good game last week against the Chiefs. That was a good game, but it's been one good game this year, basically. So before I really believe in him, I got to see more. And on the Seahawks side, Sam Darnold's been almost, if they won that game last week, he might be kind of entering the chat as MVP consideration because he's looked really good. It's been impressive. I didn't expect him to look this good, and he was almost flawless in that game against the Bucks. Outside that interception, which I thought was a bad throw, but after looking into it, it got tipped, so it's not fully on him. Should he have thrown the ball with a better angle? Yes, but he didn't throw it to a bad spot. It just got tipped. So, outside that, he had a great game. He's been looking really good. Seahawks as a team have been looking really good. Their defense got torched last week, which is concerning. I picked them to win last week because of their defense mainly. But right now, Sam Darnold has over 1,200 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's a good ratio. 3-1. That's what you
Yeah,
want.
that's what you want. If you get 3-1, you're
Yeah.
doing great. That's solid. I mean, four
Hmm.
to one is like
Yeah.
you're living in heaven. 3-1 is we're
Hmm.
doing just fine.
He's looked good, but the Jaguars do they have surprised and they do give me cause to pause on this. But I went back and forth. I'm gonna pick the Seahawks to win this game, but I am concerned because it's at Jacksonville, so I'm only giving it as a confidence level of 1.
It's so funny that you picked the Seahawks because that's exactly who I picked, you jerk. This was my upset of the week. I went with the confidence level of 2. I think it comes back to quarterback play. Right now,
Yep.
Sam Darnold's he's playing better. He's playing
Yep.
and we'll see what happens against the Jaguars defense. This Jags defense is playing very
It's a
well.
surprise. Yeah.
I mean, they really. I've been watching for fantasy, and I'm that guy, Andrew. If you're doing good as a fantasy football team or fantasy football defense, probably means that you're actually a good team. Um,
Hmm.
but I think their defensive coordinator's name is Anthony Campanelli. I think is how you pronounce it.
Hmm.
But he's looked really good.
Props.
I give him
Props to him. Yeah.
props. It's been great. I mean, just really solid rebounds compared to where they were last season. That the team
Hmm.
looks different. But I have my
Hmm.
questions about Trevor Lawrence. I think he's 5 for 4 right now on touchdowns, not including rushing. And I
Hmm.
understand that it's fair to want to include rushing. I just mean in the air. How's he doing? Like, how much can you
Yeah.
really
As
expect
a
from him?
passer.
And
Hmm.
he's 6 for 5 now. I mean, that's just 6 for 5. I just that's not good. That is
Yep.
not good. I mean, if you're producing that many turnover plays compared to your touchdowns, that's nerve-wracking. I mean, that's terrifying.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, he does have those 2 rushing touchdowns from Monday night that help out. So it's technically what a an 8-to-5 ratio if you're talking about including those rushing ones. But I'm not a believer at this point that
Yeah.
he's fully ready to really push this team forward. So should be a
Especially
good
without his
game though.
best target in Britton Strange.
I really don't get that.
Hmm.
Travis Hunter's got to step up, and I would love to. I wish there was more articles. This is the one part that's frustrating is the journalist covering of Jaguars news is limited. When Nick Foles went there to be the starting quarterback, I tried to read every single piece I could about how he was looking, what were his expectations, and it
Hmm.
was really hard, man. There was not a lot of being written about the Jaguars, and I think that that's kind of like made it more difficult to really understand the process of like why is Travis Hunter not taking off? Because there's just not a lot of media coverage. And I get it. There's a lot of other more exciting teams in
Yeah.
Florida to cover.
Hmm. I've heard that he got a little banged up in one of these games, so they were kind of limiting him as far as his snaps on both sides of the ball. But I don't know where I read that. So,
Hmm.
but there was some article like title that basically said they're reconsidering how much they want to play him on both sides because he's already showing signs of fatigue and wear and tear. Which that's what I was thinking going into the season. How are you going to play both sides of the ball in the NFL? It's not gonna happen. That's why nobody does it.
It's just crazy, man. Yeah, we don't need to rehash this. For podcast
I agree.
listeners, happily go back to every single episode this season talking
Yep.
about the Jaguars, and you'll hear my opinion. Moving on.
hmm Moving on. Let's move on to the Rams at the Ravens. The Rams, that was a brutal loss last week, man. To lose to the 49ers who are ravaged with
Yeah,
injuries. You had it just gifted to you at home. Let's go 4-1. Let's keep continuing this roll. And they put up a stinker, especially on defense. Like Matt Jones. Mac Jones threw for like 300 yards against him and just looked like a stud.
incredible. Yeah,
Yeah, props to him and props to Kyle Shanahan for calling that game. That was very well done. Um, Kendrick Bourne had 10 catches for a buck 40. They look phenomenal, but I'm more disappointed in the Rams defense. I thought the Rams had a really good defense. They did not show up last week.
No.
Now they're coming against a Ravens team that probably is still without Lamar. I haven't heard if that's official yet, but I'm assuming he's going to miss this week and probably come back next week because I think they want to get him fully 100% and not out there a lot of 85-ish percent, especially how much he runs. So I'm just assuming that he's not going to be in there. But even if he was, I don't think that would sway my decision fully
Yeah.
because this Ravens defense has looked so bad, which is crazy because they have a lot of talent. And then I don't know if you saw this, but just a few hours ago, they went and traded their best pass rusher. They went and traded Owe to the Harbaugh brother to the Chargers. So now they don't even have a good pass rush. I don't really get this trade. They went and got they trained for a safety, Gilman, who he's fine, but Owe's playing really well. I'm not fully understanding. They're obviously smarter than me, but now the Ravens defense just got worse from this trade, and it was already pretty bad. So I don't trust this Ravens team right now. I won't trust them until they get healthy. And the Rams coming off that loss, they are going to be desperate for a win. They're going to
Hmm.
be angry. I got them winning this game. I have the Rams confidence at level 10.
Yeah, and that seems about right. I went 13, and it just comes down to if Cooper Rush plays as bad as he did last week, they don't have a
Hmm.
chance. It just won't happen. It won't come together. So, I think the
Yeah.
Rams are going to be extra motivated after such a bad
Yep.
loss last week.
Yep. Yep. And low key, Puka Nacua is looking like the best receiver in this league right now.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. The one thing I did want to mention on the Rams part real quick is that 4th and 1 call in the super or in overtime
Overtime. Hmm.
was egregious. It was so bad.
Hmm.
I'm not a fan of halfback dives. I feel like they are the most overrated and most likely to not end the way you wanted them to plays. If you want to go
Hmm.
off tackle, if you want to go with the swing, if you want to go with the toss, if you want to go with the counter, even a fullback dive might be better in that situation. I'm not a fan of taking 3 steps forward and then going 3 steps up. I just think that that motion doesn't work out really well. And
Hmm.
the Rams aren't a running team. That is not. It's the same KOC issue where that's not their identity. It's not who they are.
Hmm.
And so I understand why you wouldn't want to put Matt Stafford in the quarterback sneak situation, but shouldn't you train someone to take a quarterback sneak snap to try to see if you can get the first down? I mean, one thing I've always
Yeah.
loved that the Ravens do is they brought Mark Andrews in motion and put him under center to take the snap to get the first down. I thought that was a great
Hmm.
execution on their part to get the first down in those 4th and 1, 3rd-and-1 situations. You can do that too. You have Tyler Higbee on the team. You're telling me he can't take the snap directly from the center and just push forward for a
Hmm.
yard? So they need better play
Yeah.
calling. McVay owned up to it after the
Or
game.
he did, and I was happy to hear that because that was a very bad play call. But there's another play call that for some reason it seems like it always works, and it doesn't make any sense. You think defenses would understand this by now, but every time I see it, either the Vikings run it or it goes against the Vikings or any game I'm seeing. But it's the play action fake to the running back, and then the running back sneaks out in the flat, and there's nobody there. It like
Yeah,
works every single time
yeah,
and I don't get it. It must be that the linebacker assigned to them once it's play action fake, they think they're going to go tackle him, and then they're out of position, and the running back just runs by him, and there's nobody there. But it just always works. Run that play. That's a simple play, but they
yeah,
they didn't do it. They took the L. Credit to the 49ers getting the win, and Mac
yeah.
Jones looking like an MVP candidate that game.
He sure did. I mean, he's had a good season so far in the
He's been
games he's been in.
impressive.
Yeah,
And I'm not a Kyle Shanahan fan, but I'll give him credit this year. He has coached his butt off because his team is ravaged with injuries, and he's 4-1.
it's
Lots of
incredible.
credit. Lots of
Yeah,
credit there. Next game up. This game will be fun. Titans at Raiders. I don't even know where to go with this. So for the Titans, they got their first win because of two crazy, insane plays that never should happen, but they happen in their favor. With DeMarcado dropping, well, like you said, throwing the ball out of the end zone before he scores, And then that crazy play where Cam Ward throws an interception and then he scores a touchdown on the same play. It's wild how that happened. DB intercepts the ball and then he just drops it before he falls down. I don't get it. And then the ball gets kicked and Tyler Lockett of all guys falls on in the end zone. Um, but overall this year I've been mostly impressed with Cam Ward. He's a rookie, so he's had moments where he's looked bad, but overall he looks like he's going to be something in this league. And he's making some plays. Calvin Ridley got involved last week. He had over 100 yards. They're getting Tajay Spears back, so the run game should be improved. It's still not great, but it should be improved. And the Raiders defense hasn't been played terribly, but it's nothing that scares you. So I think the Titans, I think they'll be able to move the ball a little bit. And then on the Raiders side, Ashton Genty is finally getting going. He's looking good. I like what I'm seeing there. But my biggest thing is, what is Geno Smith doing? I mean,
Mhm.
just looking at this, let me go see how many interceptions. He has 9 interceptions, 6 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. What are we doing?
2 to 3
That's
ratio,
gotta
man.
change. That's
No
gotta
good.
change. And until that changes, which I have confidence that he can turn that around, but until that changes, I'm not picking them to win. I have the Titans winning this game. Confidence
Mhm.
level of only 2. The Raiders are a better team, but until Geno Smith can have a game where he throws more touchdowns than interceptions, I'm not going to pick them to win because that's not a recipe for success. So I'm going Titans.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Raiders in this one. Um, Geno Smith needs to get better, but I think Ashton
Hmm.
Genty is starting to find his way into being successful. If
Definitely.
that's going to be passing, if it's going to be running, he's like producing right now at a level that I think is like you can live with it. You can live with
Hmm.
how he's been overall. I mean, he's eighth in rushing total as far as for rushing yards.
Hmm.
His touchdowns need to come up, but I think that he can do just enough to push them over against the Titans, and that's my only reason. I think the Titans literally, snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. That won't happen
Yeah,
again and again and again. That is not a scalable
for
model.
sure. Yeah, and this was my upset pick of the week. So that's the Raiders should win this game,
You're
but
just saying that because I picked the Seahawks, Andrew.
I picked the Seahawks too.
I know,
And
but I'm
I don't
saying
know if
is
that's a full upset. I mean, I guess it technically is because at Jacksonville, but
I don't think
Seahawks
it's
have
an
been
up,
look
I
like a
think it's an
better
upset
team.
pick.
Um, but yeah, this is my upset because I mean, the Raiders should win this game. They absolutely should win this game.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
until Geno looks like Geno Smith of 2 years ago, I can't do it. But that's also why I only have it as a 2 because the Raiders should win.
yeah.
I just can't pick Geno Smith right now. But the next game we have, I was waiting to talk about this game. Bengals at Packers. So the Packers are coming off their bye. They haven't had a win in a month because they lost and then they tied and then they're bye. So it's crazy to think that the Packers haven't won since Thursday Night Football against the Commanders. It's been that long since they got a victory. But they're still a really good team. You know me, I've never been the biggest Jordan Love believer, but he is extremely talented. He just doesn't have that it factor to close games when it's close. But if he gets a lead, Packers are going to be rolling, and mostly they have. He has 8 touchdowns to 1 interception. Awesome. That's phenomenal. But only 1,000 yards passing. So it's like, they played 4 games and he's 1,000 yards passing, so 250 a game. That's fine, but it's not like MVP candidate numbers like everyone's already crowned
Mm.
him as at the beginning of the season. So that's a little annoying on my part. And Josh Jacobs, he's looked pretty well, it's good as well, but he hasn't been like the Josh Jacobs this year. He hasn't like
Mm.
took control of a game like he has. Now, they're playing against one of the worst defenses, so they could put up 40 here, and it wouldn't be a shocker. But the thing that's happening here, though, is something very, very interesting. You know who's given the Packers their only actual loss this year? Joe Flacco. Do you know who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Bengals? Joe Flacco very well could be the starting quarterback for the Bengals. This is it like writes itself.
Andrew, don't do
It's
this.
hilarious.
Don't do it,
And Jamar Chase
Andrew.
had 2 garbage time
I know what you're
touchdowns.
saying. Don't do it, Andrew. Just pick the Packers. Just
Oh,
pick them.
Just wait. I have something even better for you here. Um, but Jamar Chase has a couple garbage time touchdowns. They still have a lot of talent on that Bengals offense, but their O line is terrible. Their defense is terrible. Joe Flacco is going to get killed. Micah Parsons is probably going to injure him this game. And then it's going to go right back to Jake Browning. He's going to throw two more interceptions. For you fantasy owners out there, probably the Packers defense is the defense to start this week because they're probably going to get 6 sacks and probably 2 picks. Um, Packers are going to win this game. It's at home. They're coming off their bye. I have the Packers winning with a confidence level of 15. And to go back on that, there's two things with that. One, the 2 times I picked the Packers to win, they haven't. And if I'm right, I get 15 points. If I'm wrong and the Packers lose, that's awesome. The Packers lost. So this is a win-win for me. I'm going to do this every single week. Packers confidence level of 15 every single week, other than the Vikings game. Because it's just a win-win for me. Packers win, 50 points. Packers lose. I love it. So I have the Packers winning with a confidence of 15.
Okay. I'm glad we can move on. Packers confidence of 11, nothing else to say. Joe Flacco is not going to save this team. It was a dumb
No.
trade, waste of time.
And they sent a fifth.
I mean, they got a sixth back, so it's like
Yeah, but they got a sixth back. And I mean, it's just uh,
I think the dumb part, Andrew, is the fact that they honestly believe that this is a move that fans should be excited about.
I honestly think
That's
Jake
the dumb
Browning is a
part.
better quarterback than Joe Flacco.
I'm not here to tell you if he's a better quarterback or not, but what I am here to tell you is what one of my friends said that they should have held open tryouts and see if maybe Vince Papale would show up so that they could save their football team. That's about the most accurate
Hmm.
thing I've heard this week about what's happening in the Bengals nation. I mean, it's just unreal, man. It's unreal that they
Hmm.
really thought that I'm going to eat my words if things turn out differently, and I'll happily eat my words. But this is
Same.
insane. This is insane to think that Joe Flacco is going to come in and save this team. I know he was the
This is what's going
comeback
to happen.
player.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know he's the comeback player when he was with the Browns, but
Hmm.
that's not happening again.
Yeah, definitely not. This is what's going to happen. He's going to get hurt this game. He's going to be put on IR, and they're going to have to trade for a different quarterback. They'll probably trade for Russell Wilson this time, who isn't much better. When the obvious answer are two quarterbacks we've been talking about, Kirk Cousins and your boy, your backup.
Tanner Key.
Why
Yeah.
hasn't that been brought up yet?
I mean, the part I don't understand is in either scenario, if it's Kirk Cousins, if it's Tanner McKee, and you're worried about giving up a higher pick, because I think the Falcons would give up Kirk and take the higher pick and eat the salary if it was a higher pick. Let's say it's a
Yeah.
second. Let's say it's a third. You're going to get that value back. If Kirk looks okay, someone's going to be dumb enough to sign him to a contract. And then you'll somewhat wipe out the
Hmm.
value. If it's Tanner
Hmm.
McKee, you can bank on it. Someone's going to sign him for a higher contract. He's also under contract, I think, for next season. So
Hmm.
I
He could be
don't
your new
get,
backup.
yeah, I don't understand the thinking here. Joe Flacco doesn't move the needle. It doesn't make your team
Hmm.
better. They don't have a line. And this guy has, yeah, I've said too much, Andrew. There's no more to say on this subject. It's a dumb move,
I
and
agree.
I can't wait to watch the uh, dumpster or like the dumpster fire on a train rolling into like this massive pit of destruction take place over the next several weeks because it's coming.
Hmm. So I would be surprised if Mike Parsons had 4 sacks this game, and that might be a low number
Yeah, yeah, I think that is very fair.
because he hasn't gotten any sacks yet. This is the game where he breaks that trend. He's going off. Anyway, we should move on to a much more competitive and fun matchup. This is going to be kind of like the Seahawks Jaguars comparison. 49ers at Buccaneers. Two 4-1 teams that have fought and gritted their way to victories. I don't know who I've been more impressed with. The 49ers with winning with all their injuries or the Buccaneers winning when they're losing and having these last minute fourth quarter comeback victories, they've both been super impressive. This was a very difficult one for me to pick, honestly. I went back and forth, back and forth. I had the 49ers and I had the Buccaneers. I went back, I didn't know which one I wanted to choose. Um, but I went, the decision I made was based off of Baker Mayfield is doing everything he can to win. It's going to happen where his fourth quarter heroics don't work. But until it doesn't, I can't pick against him. So I'm going with the Bucks in probably another shootout. The 49ers are going to be healthier. Juwan Jennings is probably back. Rick Pearsall is probably going to be back. I don't know if it's going to be Brock Purdy. It's probably Mac Jones, but honestly, he's looked better than Brock Purdy this year. If we're just
Mm.
being real, with the games they played, Mac Jones has looked better, and that's just eye test. That's just facts. But the Bucks are at home. They're riding high. Baker Mayfield is having this offense humming, even with all their injuries. He's just a gamer, man. He finds a way to win. That's the reason why I picked the Bucks to win, is because Baker Mayfield just finds ways to win. So I have
Hmm.
the Buccaneers winning, but only a confidence of 3 because this is going to be a fun game. I can't wait to watch this one. But I'm going to go with the Bucks, but this was a coin flip. I went both ways.
I went with the Bucks, and I went with a confidence of 10, so I'm pretty confident.
Oh, okay.
Um, it's nothing against the 49ers. I just don't think they have as many horses in this matchup. And that's what it's
Mhm.
going to come down to is who has the better horses. And um, the 49ers offense struggled last week. And the only reason they won was because the Rams offense struggled more. And I don't see the Buccaneers offense struggling. I don't see that
Mhm.
happening. I think they're going to work pretty well. Baker Mayfield has really found his groove in Tampa Bay. I mean, he has done a
Yeah.
very good job, and I don't see that
100%.
changing. Um,
He's my
I,
front runner for MVP right now.
it's fair. I would go Goff right now, just because the fact Goff with doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't say it because Baker Mayfield as a new coordinator too. I just think that people asserted unfairly that Johnson was the reason for Goff's successes, and I don't think that was ever fair. Goff deserves so much accolade for recreating his career
Mhm.
after being like thrown off the train by McVay. Um, and could he be better in the playoffs? Sure, but we're not talking about playoffs right now. But it's
Mhm.
close. But back to the Buccaneers game. I'm going to go with the Bucks. I could see the 49ers pulling it off. I just think going down to Tampa Bay, dealing with that humid weather,
Mhm.
um, and the Bucks play really good at home. That tends to be where they play their best ball. So I expect them to roll again, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. We agree with the outcome. I'm just a little bit more nervous because I was just super impressed with how the 49ers played. Should they have won that game? No, because the Rams had 2 really bad fumbles, but they made the plays they had to. They look good. I came out of that game more impressed than I thought I was. But the next game coming up is also going to be a really interesting game. Lions at Chiefs. So the Chiefs are coming off that bad loss against the Jags. They had control of that game. Patrick Mahomes throws that bad pick six. And I saw the play. I forgot his name, but the linebacker just fooled Mahomes, act like he was going to blitz, and he backed up in coverage. Mahomes never saw him. He picked it off, outrun everybody, 99-yard touchdown. And then the Chiefs go down and take the lead with like 2 minutes left, but they did not stop Trevor Lawrence. That is what concerns me. They let the Jaguars offense march down the field in the fourth quarter and score a touchdown to win the game. That I mean, if it's like the Lions offense march down the field and win the game against you, okay, not many people are stopping the Lions right now. But they let the Jaguars offense do this.
Hmm.
That concerns me. Patrick Mahomes is playing really well outside that one interception last week. Xavier Worthy's back. They're getting a little healthier. Rashee Rice still isn't here yet. I think he's coming back next week. Or is this the
Correct.
game he comes back? Because he
No,
was
next
suspended for
week,
5 games.
right? He's suspended for 6 games,
Was it
so
six
it's
games?
next
I thought it
week.
was 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty sure it's
Anyway,
6. Let's settle
um,
this, Andrew. week 7, so next week.
Okay. Okay. Fair. All right. So he's not back this week, so it's just Avery Worthy. It's just Travis Kelce. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to make enough plays to have the Chiefs in the game, making competitive, but the Lions look like one of the top two teams in the league right now, and that hurts me to say it. They had a really bad week one. Everyone was concerned. I was one of them saying, "Oh no, this doesn't look good." And then they start going on a roll, and their offense is just humming. Their offensive line is playing well, which I had concerns with because their all-time great center retired, and now they have a rookie in there. It's but their offensive line has played well. The Lions are just, I think they're just going to be too much in this game. I think their offense is going to be just humming. I don't think the Chiefs are going to really be able to slow them down enough. I have the Lions winning, and I got it as a confidence of 7.
Lions confidence of 1. It just comes down to going
Okay.
into Arrowhead. They're going into Arrowhead. I
That's
think it's a
tough.
tough
That's
matchup.
tough.
It's Sunday Night Football, which I think favors Andy Reid. He tends to do really well in primetime games. I know they just lost a primetime game, so maybe you'd argue against that, but I think the Chiefs are going to figure it out. This feels like one of those mid Super Bowl runs Tom Brady teams where things aren't clicking early, but it's going to click. I don't look at this team like the Ravens and think they're cooked.
Mm-hmm.
They're fighting
Mm-hmm.
every game, and it's just things aren't working out the way they want to. But I mean, listen,
Yeah.
go back to 2023 when they didn't have the top seed in the AFC. Who cares? We're rolling, and they do. They rolled all the way to the AFC to the Super Bowl, and so I'm not out on the Chiefs yet. I do get the frustrations being shared
Mm-hmm.
by many journalists right now, but this is a team that's going to keep fighting.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm not out on them either. I think they're still going to find a way to get in the playoffs, but this game against the Lions are just playing so well right now. I
They
hate it.
are.
I don't want to see it, but I can't lie. They look really good. They went from looking very concerned in week one, and then all of a sudden, like flip switch, like, oh yeah, we're still here. We still got Jameer Gibbs. We still got Amara St. Brown. We still got Aiden Hutchinson back. We're still good. Don't worry about us. And they've been just on a roll.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have one of my biggest pet peeves, two Monday night football games. One starts at 5:15, one starts at 6:15. Why we do this? If one started at 4:30 and one started at 7:30,
I'm
okay.
with you. I'm with you.
Okay, I could be somewhat on board with that, but come on. You can't watch both these games. You can watch the first quarter and then you got to pick which one. I don't like it. But the first one we have is Bills at Falcons, and honestly, both these matchups probably aren't the best either. Monday Night Football usually isn't the best matchup. It's not the worst matchup, but it's never the best. It's just like meh. So Bills at Falcons, Bills coming off that tough loss where they got in their own way, turnovers, penalties, receivers not getting open, dropping passes. Josh Allen just didn't have enough in the tank to beat a pretty good Patriots team, underrated, but they're coming off that loss and they're going to be angry. They're going to be coming. They're going to be ready to go. They're going to be knowing they need to win because the Patriots look good. The Patriots
Hmm.
aren't going away. They got to keep pace. They got to keep that gap in front of them because now they've lost the tiebreaker to the Patriots. So if they have the same record, they're not in first place. The Patriots are. So they got to keep that gap, that game gap above them. So I think if they're coming this game, they're going to be rolling. Josh Allen and James Cook are going to be just eating this Falcons defense up. Falcons defense has looked good in spurts, but also bad in spurts. I
Hmm.
think this is going to be one of those bad times. But the Falcons offense, got to give them credit. 2 weeks ago, they were on their bye last week. 2 weeks ago, they looked really good. They were moving the ball left and right. Drake London got in the end zone. Michael Penix was throwing the ball. He was wheeling and dealing. Got to give him credit. They look great. Bijan Robinson's awesome. And the Bills defense is kind of concerning. So I do see the Falcons competing and putting up points, but I think the Bills in like the fourth quarter are going to pull away, probably win by like 11 or 12 points or something. I got the Bills winning this game, and I got this as, let me see, confidence level of 12.
Yeah, I think I'm right around the same. Let me double check on mine. 12. All right, Andrew, quit stealing my teams I'm picking, quit stealing the rankings I'm putting. Like this is
Hey, I'm picking
ridiculous.
first, then you're picking second. So who's stealing who?
This is fair. I mean, I think that I'm in the lead, therefore I get to decide who's first and who's second.
But you're not in first in our group. You're only second. So the first place team
I'm
gets to
ahead of
pick
you.
that.
Between you and me, I'm ahead, Andrew. That's all that matters.
That's all that
Um,
matters.
I mean, hey, it's just like winning the division in the NFL. You know, you might be like the 10th best team in the league, but if you win your division, you're the first best team in your division. Those we're like in the same division. Everyone else is just, they're just part of a league. But
hmm
12 for me. Don't think there's anything else I'm going to add or add here. Buffalo's got to figure out the deep game though, man. It's continuing to be a concern
Yeah.
for me. I just don't think they have the deep game element right now. Also,
hmm
interesting note, one other thing I did want to add here: Keon Coleman got benched
He
for
did.
part of the game. That's not a great
hmm
look. They need him to be better and to be all in. And um, I,
Yeah, he's their one-on-one guy on the outside, and
yeah,
without him, all they have are slot guys.
well, and that's it's no slight to Shakir. Shakir's talented. It's
Yeah.
just you have to have different
hmm
players doing different things.
Exactly.
It's like, I mean, overall, I mean, maybe you'll correct me here if you've seen anything different, but I've continued to not see anything that's like really impressed me with Cooper Cup. He did have that game against the Steelers that was pretty good, but overall, he's not putting up great
hmm
numbers with the Seahawks. And I think that
Agreed.
it could be because of talent, but I think it's also because of the fact you have Smith and Jigba and Coop.
hmm
They don't complement each other. They clash with each other. And
hmm
it has to mash up well. So I think back to Coleman and Shakir, that's nice about them is they both achieve different roles.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they need
And
them.
it's never a good thing when your team, your highest, just like the Jaguars, your highest yards as far as your receiving yards goes to your tight end, and he has less than 300 yards receiving. It's not a good look.
No.
It's not a good look.
Yep. Agree with you. Well, should we get to our final matchup?
Let's get to Bears at Commanders, and I think this is going to be a sneaky, interesting game because I've been
Yeah.
impressed with the Bears past couple of weeks. Their offense is starting to get going, which makes total sense. New system for Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson's got to get all his crazy different play calling and different like gadget plays in there, and Caleb Williams doesn't understand it yet. So the first couple weeks, it didn't quite look right. They weren't in rhythm. But you saw toward the end of that Lions game in week two that they were starting to put up some yards, put up some points, and it was starting to click a little bit. And now they've won back-to-back games, and then go into their bye, going into the playbook more, learning it more. I think this is going to be a really competitive game. But the Commanders, they need to keep pace with the Eagles. They're the overall better team. It's to be determined if Ben Johnson is a good coach or not. So far, he's looked pretty good, but that's still up for debate. I would still put the Commanders as the better coach team by Dan Quinn, but Ben Johnson, he could at some point be the better coach because I mean, past two games have looked impressive. Got to give it to him. But I just think the Commanders, they're an overall better team. I like their quarterback better, not by a lot, because Caleb Williams has looked pretty good. But I do give the edge to Daniels, and then I give the edge to the run game for the Commanders because JCM had a crazy game last week. I think Krosky Merritt's can continue that. Terry McLaurin should be back, I would anticipate, because he's missed two games. But even without him, Debo Samuels looked like the Debo Samuel of old. The Commanders are starting to pick the pace up a little bit. They've looked good. I think this game is going to be really competitive. It's going to be really fun. The Bears are a team that no one wants to just look over now because they're starting to click, but I do have the Commanders winning. I think they're going to find a way to win no matter what. So I have it a confidence of 8. But the Bears are going to keep this fun. They're going to keep it close. They're a legit team now. They are.
Funny, I wrote the confidence of 7 for the Commanders. So I like it. I think it makes sense. For me, the reason why I feel a little more confident is not just because of the fact that they have Daniels back. I think that's part of it. Washington kind of has a home feeling element now. Like it actually feels good to have games at home. And I think
hmm
that's going to be an advantage for them having Chicago coming to play them there. Whereas I think if the game
Hmm.
flipped and it was in Chicago, I think it'd be a much tighter game potentially. Um,
Yeah.
but I do think it's going to be close. I like what the Bears are doing. That win against the Cowboys is aging better. It's looking better
Hmm.
as we look farther and farther away from it. So I give them a lot of credit in that win. And that Bears Raiders game was tight, and sure you could look at it and say it's the Raiders, but the bottom line is it's about winning. It's about winning. Can you do enough to
Yeah.
get the win and go home? I mean, that's all it comes down to. And
Hmm.
when teams are able to do that, you got to give them props and you got to tip the hat to them. So
Hmm.
I do think they're going to come in and play tough. Dan Quinn is a great coach, and I'm glad he's
Yep.
finally getting the respect he deserves. And um, it's awesome to see someone defensively minded, him and Todd Bowles, both being such successful coaches. I think proves to the NFL that hey, you don't have to be the offensive coach. You just have to have a good
Hmm.
model. And I think that the Commanders were smart to get someone like Cliff Kingsbury to come in to be the coach to kind of mold Daniels into what they have. And this is going to be a fun game. I'm honestly really excited for this. This is probably the most exciting matchup to me, just because of the fact. Also, one other thing I'm going to throw out here, and I should have thrown this out earlier, a little bit of a revenge factor to watch out for with the Bears. Last time we had this game,
Oh yeah. Hmm.
this was a
Yep.
pretty gut wrenching ending. So look for the Bears to be on high alert to get
Yeah.
revenge.
This was the Bears going on their very bad losing streak, and it was the start of the Commanders' winning streak last year.
It's fair.
It was a turning point for both teams, and it was off that Hail Mary.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. I would say the Commanders are on upset alert. I don't think the Bears are going to pull it off. I'm with you. I think the Commanders win, but the Commanders are on upset alert here because the Bears are a formidable team. They have confidence. They're coming off their bye. They're semi scary to play against, and that's me being
yeah.
honest.
Hey, Bears, listen, if you want to upset the Commanders, no tears for me. I would be so happy. Um, Immense gratitude for me. The Commanders, by the way, are 1-2, I think, in the NFC right now, which is crazy. So those two losses could be a
Mm,
really big deal in the divisional race. The fact that they're already two NFC games down to the Eagles,
yeah,
so that's going to
those
be
the
an interesting
Packers and
call.
Falcons. Yeah,
Yeah. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But it's a playoff team. It's a playoff team, and um, it's been fun, man. The overall parity of the NFL has been great. I love it.
it
The
has.
parody is
Hmm.
fantastic. It makes the sport unpredictable, and
Hmm.
it makes every game fun to follow because you just really don't know how it's going to pan out. So it's
Yep.
been fun.
Yep. Absolutely. That's why what we do here is just so much fun.
Yeah,
Try to
man.
pick the games, and then we get way wrong, and we're like, well, let's try it again.
Well, hey, man, it's all for me about increasing my 30-point spread over you and trying to get like 60, maybe.
Well, unfortunately, this week you're not because we picked pretty much the same across the board. So the only one I think that we did different was the Titans and Raiders. Was that the only one that we picked
Is
differently?
that the only one we did different?
I think it was.
Oh, let's redo our picks then, Andrew.
As far as
Let's
who wins.
let's get some different. Let's
Now
get
we
some
had a
different
lot of
ones
different
in.
confidence levels, but yeah, only Titans Raiders is the only one we had. We were picked a different team winning.
Crazy.
Hmm.
Wow. Well, it's gonna be fun, man. I'm excited to come on next week and review our picks and
Yep.
lots of good football to look forward to this week.
Yep. And next week we get to pick the Eagles Vikings.
Can't wait. Can't wait. It's gonna be
Hmm.
fun.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like and subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.